Yo, what's going on YouTube, and welcome back to our Minnesota Twins discussion. And in today's videos, there's 3 videos coming out today. They're all going to be related to the Twins bullpen and how we can improve it, what the trade rumors are, what's going on with basically how to improve our bullpen. So here we go today. The first video is going to be how the Twins can or cannot be competitive with their current bullpen. So I kind of talked about this yesterday in that Twins pitching strategy. I didn't get a lot of feedback from you guys, so again, make sure to go check out that video if you haven't already. I want to know your opinion on it. Is that a good strategy? Is it not? Why and why not? But in that strategy, I talked about, you have 3 starters, then you go to a bullpen, and then you have some long relievers. So basically, I used, Trevor Hildenberger and Addison Reed as our 2 closers, and then basically everybody else is kind of a long reliever matchup player. So I guess jumping right into it, basically Addison Reed and Trevor Hildenberger are only 2 closers, and they did not have a great 2018. They need to step up a little bit in 2019, and obviously, Hildenberger wasn't always the closer. We had Fernando Rodney, thank goodness we got rid of. I could do a whole nother video on why he needed to leave, but that's in the past, so we move on. And then, Addison Reed kind of struggled. Trevor Hildenberger kind of was the closer with Matt Belisle as well, but then Matt Belisle retired as well. So, these 2 guys are basically our best closers, but they're not really closers, which is why I hope that last year was kind of a year to develop them into this closer setup role in order for them to be able to do it this season, considering we haven't gone out and got anybody yet. Now, in the next 2 videos today, I will be talking about 2 players that we should at least consider trading for, going out and getting. So let's just talk about Addison Reed quickly first. He played 31 games in the first part of the season, 3 ERA, and a 8.6 K per 9. That's not bad. Then the remaining 24 games that he played, he had a 6.5 ERA, and overall he had a 4.5 to finish the year. So that is like night and day difference between Addison Reed and his performance. I think he ended up like 1 or 2 and 8 on the season as well. Not a good record. But for 2019, he is going to have to at least step it up. I don't care about his wins, unless they want to put him in like the long reliever or in that like middle inning. I guess he could probably get more wins if he was in like the 5th inning that pitched in my strategy. He would probably get a lot more wins. But, it doesn't really matter to me. All I care about is Addison Reed having an ERA of under 3. That's it. Again, depending on how many innings he pitches, I don't think it is unreasonable to have a closer or a setup guy in Addison Reed having an ERA over 3. That doesn't make sense. Fernando Rodney had an ERA of 3.5 or something like that. Absolutely ridiculous. But he's not a bad pitcher. He just struggled a little bit, and I hope that year, while the whole Twins were struggling, I hope that this year, he understands his role, is able to be put in his role and focus on that, and basically be able to put last year in the past and move forward. Next up is Trevor Hildenberger. He was basically, like I said, our closer for the last part of the year. I really like Trevor Hildenberger. I think if he develops more of a slider coming from his side hand, I think that will really help him. He pitches overhand and he pitches side hand, but it's kind of, I don't remember how fast his slider was, but I thought it was like 87, and it doesn't move as much as you'd think it does coming from a side angle, and it's pretty easy to hit. If he was able to, make that spin more, I guess the terminology, make it cut way outside, it would be such a dirtier pitch. And obviously the fastball, if he can locate that up in the zone, up and inside in the zone, tie up some hitters, right-handed hitters, that's fantastic. And, work on the curveball, whatever. That's great. I mean, I like him as our closer. I really do. I think with his special delivery, it makes a lot of sense to put him out there in a position where he can shut people down because, he can throw. Let's just say there's 3 right-handed batters in the bottom of the 9th inning, and he comes in to close. You throw sidearm completely to one guy, overhand completely to one guy, and then you mix it up. it's crazy how that could affect some players. Like, hey, what did you see? Oh, yeah, I saw only sidearm. Okay, I'll go up there expecting sidearm. Now I get all overhand. Hey, what'd you go over there and see? Oh, I saw all overhand. Now you see some more mixing in some sidearm and some overhand. It's crazy. He did come back and post in the last 42 games of the year. He posted a 2.8 ERA. I like that. 200 batting average for the opponents and a 9.2 K per 9. I like it. That's great. Like I said, after he got put in and plugged in to his closing role after Fernando Rodney got traded, absolutely great. I love that number. I honestly think he is probably one of our best pitchers in the bullpen right now, considering Taylor Rogers is a left-handed pitcher. So let's move on. These two guys really need to step up this year. Like I said, those guys are our closers, and depending on what strategy they want to use, if they want to use the continued strategy that they have been using, obviously put them in the 8th and the 9th. But, I would like to see them in the 5th and the 6th. I think that would be a great strategy. Knock them out from right in the middle of the game instead of waiting until the end. So a couple other players that really need to develop themselves are Taylor Rogers, Blake Parker, who we just traded for, and then Trevor May, and finally Matt McGill. This is where I struggle here. I like Taylor Rogers, but he's basically our only left-handed pitcher. Let's just go through the 40-man roster really quickly. I guess we could do that. We have John Curtis. I hope he leaves. Chase DeYoung. Tyler Duffy, I guess, can kind of pitch out of the bullpen. We didn't really use him much. Trevor Hildenberger, Zach Little, Matt McGill, Trevor May, Alberto Mejia, Gabriel Moya, Michael Pineda. I hope we use him. I hope he stays healthy, and I hope we can use him in the starting rotation. But I guess we can put him in the bullpen for a while. Addison Reed, Taylor Rogers, possibly Fernando Rodney, depending on where we want to put him as well. Cole Stewart, Lewis Throp, if we call him up. Also, Fernando Rodney has to get called up. And then Andrew Vasquez. Never heard of that guy. But, I've never really seen Cole Stewart do well. Moya and Mejia struggle a little bit. I've never really seen Little. And then McGill struggled kind of at the end of last year as well. So, and then obviously Curtis is just garbage. But these guys, I don't think can compete with the bullpen that they have right now. I mean, like I said, you've got two pretty good closers, and if you want to stick with Addison Reed and Trevor Hildenberger, that's fine. Trevor May is Trevor May is a good, solid arm, like an extended reliever, like he's been used for in the past. Is good fastball, and then obviously you have who did I just talk about? Taylor Rogers, being a left-handed He's a left-handed specialist. He's pretty good at what he does. Those four guys, that's it. That's all the pitchers that I can heavily rely on and say, hey, go out there and do a job. And that's a problem for me as a Twins fan, because the only way around that is either you go pick somebody up or you put some starters in the bullpen, and we don't want to do that. We've never done that. We do have Barrios, Gibson, Gonsalves, May, I guess, could start. Mejia, Moya could start. Pineda, Odorizzi. Who else? That's it. So I guess we do have 8 people that could start. Obviously, depending on when they get called up and injuries and stuff. But we have 8 people that can start. Why don't we put them in the bullpen? I don't know. I think that'd be the best idea right now, because we're not going to go out and trade for anybody. We should, but we're not going to do it. And, considering like Vasquez, Throp hasn't come up yet. Stewart, not good. McGill, not very good. Well, I guess he's iffy. Little, not very good. This Chase DeYoung guy, never heard of him. Like, these guys, we get them for cheap off of trades or something like that. Injuries, and then they get released or something. And we go pick them up. They never perform the way that we need them to. And that's why our bullpen has always struggled. Our bullpen cannot compete the way it is. And the only way to solve that issue is to put starters in the bullpen or go out and trade for people. Like I said, Trevor Hildenberger, Trevor May, Taylor Rogers, and Addison Reed are basically the only 4 guys on our team that can compete. And out of what? Is it a 12 bullpen roster? Or is it just 12 pitchers? I can't remember. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we have 9-ish bullpen guys. Now, obviously, they're not all going to get called up right away, but let's just say 8 to 9 bullpen guys. And we have only half of them being productive. That's not good. They're going to get tired if you use them every day, and if you don't use them every day, we're going to lose. that's a problem. So, again, the only solution I can see is if you go out and trade for people, which, again, will be in the next 2 videos, or if you put starters in the bullpen, and I just don't see that happening because the Twins don't want to do that. So, that is my take on it. I don't think the Twins can be competitive in their current market, honestly, because it comes down to pitching. I think their hitting and their defense will be fine, but they cannot be competitive in their current market unless they fix something, and obviously that's either going to come in, like I've continued to say, putting starters in the bullpen, go out and trade for somebody, or seriously having somebody step up. Like I said, Trevor May, he stepped up last year after his Tommy John surgery. We're going to need players like that. Players that probably you've never heard of, like this Lewis Throp guy who's come up from AAA, or, you know, if we put Moya or Stewart, whoever Cole Stewart is, needs to step up. They need to do well, otherwise they are just going to be hurting the Twins again. So that is my take on it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to my channel. Also follow me on Twitter down in the description below. But other than that, that's all I got for you in this first video. Come back next video and we will talk about whether or not we should trade for Craig Kimbrell.